In your opinion, what would you think would make the neighborhood better?
I think one of the things so I have to go look back a little bit. When I grew up on 183rd, right down here in Harvard.
Okay.
One thing back in the 70s and 80s, everything was black owned from Lee Road to Warrensville, other than with the exception of a few. And that coincided with a high home ownership and not necessarily high rental. I know they had a proposal about placing some type of low-income, high-rise apartment where Kennedy used to be. I think that would be detrimental to the neighborhood. Now, if it was single homes and was affordable, that would make more sense to create more to bring by the community and the neighborhood aspect than stacking people in there like, oh, let me just get a place to live. This wasn't just a place to live. This was a community. And the councilman knows that. You know, Joe Jones, you remember we used to play basketball at Westwood, so he knows how it was. And that is, it's not an easy fix, but he knows the grandeur that this neighborhood used to have. Ken Ferguson used to be one of the cornerstones in here that all of us went there for a karate lesson. And now Justin is trying to keep that legacy going. But we need cooperation with the city. Matter of fact, I don't know the last time Joe even came down to visit us and talk to us as business owners here in Lee Harvard area.
Okay. And I want to go back to what you said about the redevelopment, the plans they got for Kennedy. So you saying that'll be actually going backwards, huh?
I believe it'll be going backwards. Because if you're introducing high-rise apartments or things like that, that's not what this neighborhood was built on. This neighborhood was built on neighbors on the porch. You're able to go, stay off the grass, walk down the street, and they can look at you. But then put them in a box, how does that create your community? And how do we get benefits from it? Who gets paid from it? And so those are questions. You know, I even had an issue, the fact that Kennedy is gone, because that was the neighborhood. But I can get aside from that. But let's not add insult to injury. Let's talk, and maybe there's some other ideas on how to utilize that space that benefits everybody.
Okay. And I got one more question before we get out of here. So you say from the time you was growing up around here to the time now, what would you say actually made it take a turn? Was it the violence? Was it the abandoned buildings? Well, I guess the housing rise, the spike in the housing. So what would you say in your opinion that made it take a dramatic turn? Because this is a nice neighborhood from what I heard.
When our businesses, when the black-owned businesses was either purchased or sold out to people of other interests, due to the introduction of drugs into the neighborhood, and then as soon as they switched from home ownership to rental, and also, you know, I have to say my generation has some responsibility as well. And Joe Jones knows this fully well. We used to have all the fathers was our coaches, our football coach, our baseball coach, for baseball, basketball, churches, St. Henry's, and different places. Once that left and they raised us to get an education, and we left the neighborhood, we didn't anchor here in the neighborhood, and so then it was kind of up at that point to the highest bidder. So Joe Jones you know, we can go back to all the councilors. He said, let's talk. More fathers and families lead.
More fathers and families. Okay.
We get fathers and families doing those things we used to do that he and I both benefited from. That's how we start turning the neighborhood.
Okay. And for the people that don't know who we talking to right now, let them know who you is and where to find you.
Joe Jackson.
Oh, Joe Jackson. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's a unique name.
Hey, Joe Jackson. Hey, better not miss a note.
Okay. Where can the people find you at?
I really don't have much of a follow right up here at Ferguson Civic Center. Be the place to start.